Hello, beautiful souls. Hello and welcome. Welcome to my channel. My name is Sadhana. And tonight I am stepping a little bit away from what I usually do on Thursday nights. Just getting the chat up on my phone so I can see the chat there. Hey, Gypsy Jade. Because I don't know, I was watching a couple of readers on YouTube today, and I thought, one of the things I love to do is to actually read. And so I thought that I would revisit the cards of the year and do some quick readings for each of the cards, because we have one full moon cycle and a bit left in 2020. So why not do some readings for everybody tonight? So that's what I'm going to do. But first, I'm just going to share with you a couple of announcements. Alrighty. So I've got a couple cameras going on here, so bear with me with the technology and so forth. So for those of you, there are no mods who have arrived yet, and I'm going to try to keep an eye on the chat. If there are people that come in with personal questions tonight, I'm not doing personal readings. I'm going to do readings for starting with the Hierophant and then going up to ending with the Fool, and doing 3-4 card readings for each of the cards of the year. So if you don't know what your card of the year is, the way that I calculate it is in the description box below. So you can have a quick look there and calculate your card for the year. And you should know that I should have linked these below, but I didn't. In January, I did a reading for each of the cards. And also, I think I did it at Beltane as well, too. So I did a reading for each of the cards. So yeah, so that's what's going to happen tonight. And I have some other cards I want to share with you right here as well, too, from some personal readings that happened today. The next announcement is, and most of you have seen this announcement, that I'm starting a new session. So Read With Me on Zoom. And Read With Me is a series where we talk about cards. We talk about how I read and the process of how I go about a reading. And in series 1, which starts on Sunday, we're going to talk about 4 questions. Primarily, the first one is what. So what, who, where, and when. And each week we're going to focus on one of those questions. And series 2 starts next Wednesday. And series 2 is going to look mostly at timing and tarot. So those are available in the shop on my website. And many of you have been waiting for this announcement. So this is a personal story. So I have been, I don't know what it is. Spirit has been asking me to do something very intensive. And I have been avoiding doing this, and I did dangle a carrot a little while back, and there was a little bit of interest. And so I thought, okay, maybe I can do this. I started to write out a program. And then a couple of mornings ago, I was awoken again with this message, like, are you going to do this? Get on with this. And so I wrote a blog post yesterday, and the link for the blog post is there. It's on my website. And if you're interested in walking with me for 40 days on a journey of transformation, then you can send me a message, and all the information is there that you need. Okay. So let's have a look. I wanted to share with you, I don't know how many of you have the Weaver's Oracle. I'm going to put this banner on there, and I'm going to show the cards as well too. Okay. I should say hello to everybody else who's here. Hello, Well-Tempered Claire and Marg. Thank you for coming here tonight. Well-Tempered Claire, have a look in the description box below. There's different names and different ways of calculating a number. And the number that I'm talking about tonight is the number that I use with myself and with clients as their card for the year. And that's based because 2020 is the number 4. So the number 4 is added to the month and the date of the birth. And so that's the number that I'm talking about. It is called by other names as well. What I wanted to say was these cards here. There's been a lot. I've been downloading a lot of messages lately, and I've been feeling really kind of connected, intimately connected with the wild lately. And I don't know what it is. I needed to pull out the Weaver's Oracle today. And I decided that we're a little bit before the new moon, that I am going to pull out a Weaver every new moon. And I'm going to make this kind of a ritual and leave a Weaver on my altar. And the Weaver that I drew this morning, it was just so incredible. Do any of you have this deck? It's just such an amazing deck of, if you feel the energy of the ancestors and you connect deeply with nature, this is such a profound deck to work with. It's not something that I can incorporate tonight because every single card is a deep, deep, deep message. But I also decided to pull out the, what's this one called? The Shamanic Medicine cards. And this is the card that I drew this morning. And the message between these two cards was just so profound and so deep. I was going to pull out some pictures that I took recently from the place where I like to go for my walks and just share some of the magic of there's a couple of moss-covered large rocks that have this brilliant energy that radiates from them that I kind of greet every day. And there's another large one that looks like the head of a gorilla. And I just really needed to receive this message this morning. And even though I do this pretty much every single day for myself and other people, it never fails to amaze me. The power in these messages and the connection with these cards and how Spirit is somehow able to do this in such a beautiful way. So these are two decks that if you're looking for connection, I strongly, strongly recommend. Hello there, My Voice Tarot and Misty. Okay, so Misty has the 13th card. So the question is, My Voice Tarot asks, would I look at 1 or 10? You can look at both, but I would definitely look to the 10. And hello to Sunny. And 15, I would not reduce to 6, but you could certainly pay attention when we do the 6. But your card would be 15. And hello to Dion. All right, and Dion is the Hermit. Okay, so I'm going to put these away. I love the color palette. I mean, they work so well together, the colors of these two decks. They're going to be out for a while, I have a feeling, on my altar. Let's see. I'm going to put them out of the way so you can do your readings. Okay. So I'm going to do a 3 card for each of and I'm going to pull out significators. So let's just have a little chit chat while I decide what deck I'm going to use for the significators. Actually, no, we'll do that. I'm just gonna, sorry, I should have done this. after I knew what I was doing tonight. So I just need to think about how I'm going to do this tonight and what it is exactly I want to do. Just give me a few seconds here. You guys can chat and tell each other what your cards of the year are. I just want to have like good harmony with the decks that are on the table. And I realized I didn't pull out an RWS deck, unfortunately. Okay, so I think I'll pull out the significators from here. So what I'm doing right now is I'm going to pull out the significator cards so you can see them, so you know which card I'm doing the reading for. So this is one of the times where I actually do have a significator on the card, and the significator is the topic card. I do have another question for you. I have a couple of inspired ideas about a couple of decks that I want to create. And I am not an artist. And I'm looking for an artist that would like to work with me. Not collage art. That's one thing that I'm not really looking to. But if you know, or you are an artist, or we don't need the magician, let me know. Let me know. Because a couple of things have come up this week, and I have gone to my tarot shelf, and it's like there's no deck that does what it is I need it to do. And so I'm thinking perhaps this is a time for me to do my own deck. And it is something I've been thinking about for a while. So yeah. And I had a quick glimpse at Sunny's comment. And so usually, yeah, so if you are 5 this year, next year, you'll probably be a 6, but it doesn't always work that way. Not always. Okay, so 5, 6, 7, 8. You don't need the Empress. 9. 10, Justice, 11, 12, 13, Temperance, 14, Devil, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. There we go. Okay. All right, so this is our significator card. There we go. So we're going to start. I'm going to start with the Hermit. And can I ask you a favor? If you do have so Andrew, perhaps you can email me later and we could have a little chit chat about that. That would be amazing. And I just need to decide which deck I want to work with tonight. Like I really want to, you know what? I think because of this coloration here, I think I'm just going to use the Wild Unknown tonight, and I might switch it up after a bit. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. So this is fun, hey? This is fun. I'm going to do a 3-card, and I want to, so here's another thing. Questions. What is the question? Now, this is not a personal question, so maybe we could have a little discussion about this. What is the question that you would like me to focus on for your card of the year? And I'm going to do the same question for every card. I'm not going to change it up. I might do 1 or 2 questions, but I wanted to share with you some of these amazing questions in this guidebook. Just incredible. So here, for example, I mean, they're so deep, they're so profound. Just here's one. When does my lost path become a trail to trust? How do I turn a fearful journey into one of courage? How do I make my exhaustion a catalyst for change? Where does death become my place of revelation? Are these amazing questions? How may I give nourishment, and what feeds my source? Here's one that might work. What do you think of this one? What do I not see? What do I hold in balance, or what am I not able to carry? Or this one, what do I set free? What feeds my source? I mean, these are all amazing questions. So I'm just going to see if you have written any questions down. This deck is called This Might Hurt. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to pick. Okay, I'm going to pick. Okay, so I'm going to do 1 question for each, because otherwise I'm going to be here all night. Oh, this is hard. Okay. You know what? I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to do, what do I not see? Okay, so this reading is for those of you that have the Hierophant card as your card for the year. And the question is, what do you not see? And I remember, this is a question that is relative to the end of this year. So this is a question that is relative to the completion of 2020. And so if I expand the question, what do I not see, and turn it in a different direction, what do I need to see to move with greater ease through the remainder of the year? Does that make sense? Okay. So here we go. Ooh, that was an easy cut. You don't see death. You don't see love. And you don't see. Okay. Really interesting combo of cards. Okay, so this was the first card that was drawn. This is the second card. This is the third card that was drawn. I'm really drawn to that crystal ball in the High Priestess, and the light that is emerging from the cup in the Ace of Cups. And what I want to say is that because this year, having the Hierophant card being your significator card, you perhaps are really focused on learning, but there has been a clinging to, if it's written down, if it's in a book, it's right. It must be right. And so that might have been one particular teacher. It might have been one particular book. Maybe it was a book that you have picked up after a long time. But perhaps this year, rather than trusting yourself, rather than trusting that inner voice that you know so well, you got carried away, or you got, you know what I mean? Like, you got attached to that book. You got attached to the dogma or the written word. And so maybe this year you are really studying a particular course or something. Like, for example, I don't know, like you were taking a particular course, you were diving into a particular study. And so you were so focused on that, you forgot, right? You forgot about this. So the Death card here, to me, in connection with the Hierophant card, really, really speaks to letting go of those. There's a phrase, you know, when people say, take what resonates with you and leave the rest. Well, you've been putting so much stuff in your backpack, it's getting really heavy. So it's time to burn those things. You don't need to carry all that stuff. You need to integrate what you've learned. Trust that you have the skills to do that. And what I see this Ace of Cups representing is like this newfound kind of burst of like this beautiful aha moment for yourself. And who knows what's going to come from this year, your year as the Hierophant. Like, you've learned a lot. And so now you need to integrate that with your inner wisdom. Okay? And just the way I have my cameras set up today, I may or may not see all of your comments. So please support each other in the comments and respond to each other in the comments. And I will pause from time to time. I want to get like 3 or 4 under my belt, and then I'll pause and just kind of see, because it's 17 ratings, right? My phone is right here, and I need to put my glasses on, but if I do see caps, I will bend over and put my glasses on. All right, so what if, for those of you with the Lovers as your card for 2020, what do you not see, and what would you benefit from seeing as this year comes to a close? And I want you to know you've got me at a really good time. Like I was saying, like, I just feel like the connections right now are really good. I don't know if it was it's kind of a carryover of the opening of the portal at Samhain, or just some practices that I am doing right now. Sun card flipped over, so we'll see if that shows up. I don't want to shortchange any of you on your shuffle, so we might be here for a while. Okay. Isn't that funny? You don't see the Hierophant. You don't see the Hierophant. Okay, so let's just kind of talk about this Lovers card, having the Lovers card this year. So the Lovers card as your card for the year, to me, is a big year of integration, of really finding that wholeness, right? Of your masculine, your feminine. It's about really learning to love yourself. It's about choosing to love yourself. I mean, a lot of different things would have come up. And in an Emperor year, that might have been a little hard to do, right? You might have felt a lot of restriction around that kind of energy. And perhaps there is someone you could have leaned on. Maybe there's a mentor that you could have leaned on to help you with those teachings, with that wisdom. Perhaps you didn't see an opportunity to take a course or a workshop that you've always wanted to take. Oh my. Oh my. Okay. Second time the death card has come up. So let's just have a look at that. And there's, you know, that Three of Swords to me, I see an entanglement. Like, it's just like, oh, get me out of this. Get me out of this. And this feels a bit like a carryover, a very similar message. And because we're working within a short time frame, a lot of these messages today may very well overlap. So I said in the previous reading, you just got way too much stuff in your backpack and you need to get some of that stuff out of there. Well, I see here, you're not seeing this entanglement. You're not seeing how messy you have chosen to make your life. You're not seeing the wisdom. You're not seeing the mentor or that inner teacher. And you're not seeing death. And I would say that you're choosing not to face death. You're choosing not to face death. And the trouble with that is, and recently I was talking about how much I loved the this card in the Bonestone Tarot. And was it that one? I don't know what card it is. It's a card with the burning heart. I think it's this card. It's because we're afraid of the pain. We don't want to feel the pain. It's too hard. And so if we want to experience the transformation, and if we want to realize the teachings of the Lover's card this year, we have to. You have to let it burn. You have to 100% let it go. There can't be any letters. There can't be any jewelry. There can't be, you need to throw it into the fire. Whatever it is. In order for you to feel whole, which is what this year is about for you. It's about choosing yourself. That's one of the big messages for you this year. And you know what I would do with this? I would just get a pair of scissors and I would cut it off. That kind of reminds me of the Sasarai Bito. You know the card I'm talking about in the Sasarai Bito? There's so much more I could say, but that's your brief message. All right, Chariot people, what do you not see? Hello, Paula. Thanks for being here. For those of you that are just joining us, it's difficult for me to see the chat tonight, and I want to get going through these readings. So if you do have something for me, I should be able to see the tagged ones as well too, or caps. It's just that the print on my phone is really little and it's right there. Okay, so this is for the Chariot people. Those who have the Chariot card is their card for 2020. What are you not seeing, and what would you benefit from seeing for the remainder of 2020? And my prayer for all of you is that, so having the Chariot card in Emperor year, in a number 4 year, it really feels to me like a fish swimming upstream. And so it may have felt like this year for you has been a couple steps forward and then 3 steps back all year long. So perhaps your message today will help bring a little bit of clarity so you can end this year feeling like you actually have embraced the Chariot. Okay. Nice. I like this. I like this. This is a really good card for you to come up right now. This feels like so much hope. It's like, what? You know, we feel like it's almost the end of the year and the year's over and there's nothing else we can do. But this card is saying that there is something you can do. There's one more thing you can pick up. There's something that you can create. There's a spark. And this feels like a ray of hope. Well, we don't want to see that guy, but that guy is always there. So let's figure out why the devil card has shown up, because you're not seeing the devil. You're not seeing your own worst enemy. Are you your own worst enemy? Likely you are. So the devil is there to remind you that if you were to, depending on what your either, I'm almost feeling like it has to do with your inner, like the self-deprecation and the I'm not good enough kind of chatter, rather than alcohol or cigarettes or something like that. I feel like you are your own worst enemy in that regard. So stop it. Smarten up. Like, put some Post-its on your mirror and say it the other way around, and just start saying to yourself, I've got this. I can do this. If I'm going to do this any year, this is the year I'm going to do it, or at least I'm going to initiate it. At least I'm going to initiate it and finally get off the couch and do this. So this card is here because you needed to see that, right? And you have the power to get up and act. And what do I want to say about the Four of Wands? Look at the light there. You know, when I see this card, it reminds me so much of it's like I see crazy things in this tarot deck. So give me some leash tonight, please. I see the beginning of a dream catcher, which kind of mirrors this card here, right? This is the daughter. This is the Four. And the daughter of Wands has started to make a dream catcher. And maybe she ran out of yarn, and instead of going to the yarn shop to get another ball of yarn, she went to the liquor store and got a bottle of wine and forgot about this dream catcher that she was building. That's kind of what I'm seeing here. So you've thought about this new foundation that you want to create, but you really need to get on it and get off the couch and have a good look in the mirror and just say to yourself, you've got this. And I don't know. Yeah. So I don't know. Feels pretty clear to me. I love that Chariot card. And I'm really glad that Devil card came up for the Chariot people, because when I was saying earlier that the Chariot in the number 4 year, it's hard. And then you've got that 4 card there. So you've got this opportunity to get going with this. Like this. The third devil card is slightly out of frame. Okay. I will, when I lay the next ones down, I'll have a good look at the frame. I will do that. Oh, more towards me. Sure. I will do that. All right. Strength, people. And you know what I want to say? I want to say thank you to all of you people this year. What a year we have had. Seriously, what a year we have had. And so thank you to all of you who have carried this strength for us this year. And to carry that strength again. Number 4 year is not an easy year. You know, it feels like, oh yeah, it's a year that we can create our foundation. But I think this year was a very shadowy number 4 year. Very shadowy. Okay, so I'll make sure that the cards are in better view for this one. We have High Priestess again. So the question is, what do you not see? So what do the strength people do not see? You know, and I also have a sense here that the strength people have been carrying a lot and carrying a lot for other people this year. That's one thing I sense. So people recognize your inner strength. People recognize your power, your ability, your stick-with-itness and your tenacity. And so you may be feeling a little squeezed. What are you not seeing? You're not seeing the lightning bolt that's hitting the sword. Ooh, juicy. Father of Swords. Father of Wands. I'm looking at the lightning bolts. This is Ace of Swords. This is Father of Wands. This is extremely masculine energy. This is feminine energy. Okay, so let's kind of think here. So this is very, you know, balanced. It has that sense of gentle strength, gentle giant kind of energy. So what you're not seeing, wow. You know what? I was saying that perhaps you have been, what did I say? You've been carrying the weight for other people. And so you have not seen or you have not recognized that inner strength, that this year of strength is for you. So you've kind of missed that. And what this message here, so this is a really interesting message. So very, very masculine energy here, strong feminine card here, major card, kind of balances each other out, right? Water, and it's not all fire, but it's very, very masculine energy. And these descriptors I use spiritually, not talking about gender. And so I feel like you've been holding back a little bit. No. You've been holding back a lot. There's been some issues about not doing it for yourself because you question whether you deserve that. You question whether it's more important to have the strength for other people than to have it for yourself. It's more important to do it for other people than it is to do it for yourself. Well, what you've missed is the opportunity to do something really big for yourself this year. And so now in this final lunar cycle, this end of 2020, this is about picking up your sword, like seriously picking up your sword and doing this for yourself. And when I see that Ace of Swords, it's time, sorry, so funny, right? Ace of Swords, throat. When I see that Ace of Swords, it's a reminder for you to, like, I don't know whether it's at the office or it's in your relationship, like, no more BS. You need to stand up, you need to take charge, and you just need to be there for yourself. And it's time for you to take charge. There's not a doubt. You have that inner wisdom. You have that inner, gentle, giant, intuitive, natural strength. And you have every skill available. So stop looking after other people. There's something really big that you can finish up this year, that you can initiate this year. Way more than you ever dreamed. I'm just going to, Sadhana, I'm curious, why did you decide to start with the Hierophant today? Oh, okay. So I have to bend over and look at my spreadsheet here. That's a good question. 1 second here. I'll get a lot of spreadsheets open on my desk. All right. So I have a chart. I could share it with you. Should I share it with you? I'll share it with you. Hold on. Because this is a really good question and it gives me an opportunity to pause. Okay, share screen. Card of the year. Share. Okay. And then I'm just going to go here to see what you can see. Okay, good. All right, so I am a bit of an Excel nerd, so just saying that out loud. This is a chart that I made because I was doing a whole bunch of these readings. And so if your birthday is January 1st, and so see this number 4 here, down this column, I'm going to change that number 4 to a 5 for next year. And so, so I did these calculations. So January 1st people, their number is 6. January 2nd people, their number is 7. And if you look down this column, 6, 7, right? You look down here and then you go across to the February people, March people, just go across the chart. There are no number 4s, there's no number 3s, there's no number 2s, and there's no number 1s anywhere this year. So the first number this year is 5. That's the lowest number in anybody's reading. So that's why I chose that. It's so funny. I always tell people my life is a spreadsheet. Oh, hey, Joseph's here. Welcome to Joseph. And anybody else that I've missed coming in, hello, hello, hello. Okay, so there we are. That was the number 8 reading. And so I hope, Andrew, I answered your question. I have so many spreadsheets for different things, and I find it really useful. It just helps me. I'm not a math nerd, but I love organization. I have no Virgo in my chart. Love organization. I actually taught, so you know, in the days when people use planners and stuff, like filofaxes and things like that. I actually taught a class. I actually made up a course in organizing your life. Pretty funny. Okay, so what are the Hermit people not seeing? My backdrop even looks like a spreadsheet. I'll get my starlights out. I'll get my star lights out soon, so it'll look more festive. I started putting some lights outside before it gets cold, you know. It's no fun putting lights out when it's freezing outside. Okay, so what are the Hermit people not seeing? For those of you that have been watching this whole thing, we're getting some another repeat. Repeat. Let's see if there's any different thoughts that I have here. Okay, so Hermit year. It's kind of a nice year to have this card, really, because there hopefully has been a lot that you have gleaned from the energy of the Hermit this year. And I find some of the responsibilities of the Hermit can be overwhelming, because if the Hermit is shining their light for others rather than doing their own inner work, it can become quite a burden, because sometimes I find that the Hermit is more like a guru than, you know, like instead of doing their own inner work. That's like me, you know, like sometimes I'm so busy teaching and being the teacher, I step away from my own practice, because by the time I get to bed at night, I just want to go to sleep. I don't want to do my practice. So anyway, because of the environment of this year, this could have been a really challenging year. And really interesting, like these two cards side by side. So what are you not seeing, and how can you better bring this into light for the rest of the year? This is the Daughter of Pentacles. It's a very gentle, loving, beautiful, connected card. And so these cards here, there's so much feeling in these cards, so much gentleness and kindness. I feel a lot of kindness. Like it just, so you're not seeing the kindness. What does that mean? Okay, what does that mean? You're not seeing the kindness. You're not seeing how kind you have been. You're not seeing the gift of gentleness. I don't imagine you've been sharp this year. It's not a year that shadow would necessarily arise. You're not seeing kindness. You're not seeing softness. You're not seeing the lessons of kindness. Perhaps this has to do with, and I want to stay with, it feels quite emotional and it feels very connected. And so it may very well have to do with family. And so with your year as the Hierophant, you may have chosen to step away a bit from your family. And so perhaps you have not, you know, we need, when we do that, there needs to be a reciprocation of gratitude, you know, like, thank you for giving me this space, because I really needed this time. Like, you don't need to justify why you've taken the year as a hermit, but you do need to count your blessings and to count all those people that have supported you. And another thing that's coming to mind too is that there's often a sense of arrogance that arises. So when we start to do a lot of spiritual work, and if we are intermingling with people who don't understand the depth and the breadth of the spiritual work, what shadow does come through is one of arrogance. And even though we know we're not better than them, sometimes we lose patience, because either they don't ask in your mind the right questions, or they are living their life in a way that doesn't resonate with you. And so loving them exactly as they are, like that unconditional love is really, really important. And you need to see their love and you need to reflect that love. Like hold them with the gentleness and kindness that this gentle deer would. So I don't know if that resonates with you, but so when I work as a reader, I really have to allow the downloads just to flow, and I do my best to integrate it with what's on the table. That's just, I just needed to say that. Big themes tonight. Yeah, big themes. All right, wheel people. Whoa. So how has your year been, wheel people? The wheel. So here's a question for you, for those of you that read tarot. Of the cards from 5 to 22, 22 being the Fool, of the cards from 5 to 22, which one of the cards, if any, would thrive, sorry for the water spit, would thrive in a 4-year? I don't feel like we've really, maybe the Hierophant, the first one we did, for sure, Hierophant. Can't put well, you can put a wheel in a square box. You can do that. It still moves. The wheel still moves in a square box. Don't you just love? I mean, tarot it's easy. It's easy. You just got to talk out loud and read the metaphors, right? Okay. Ooh, look at that. Wheel and wheel. Wheel and wheel. This is the Ouroboros. Okay, wheelers. Anybody got a wheel song? Ooh, this is a repeat. Did I shuffle half the deck up and half the deck down? No, I didn't. Okay. Very, very interesting. Very interesting. Well, the first thing I want to say when I saw that wheel card is that what you are not seeing is that well, an obvious one is you're not actually seeing the wheel itself. So you're focused on the stages. It's like you're not seeing the journey, you're seeing the points on the path. And right now, the point on the path that you're not seeing is this point. And this is a significant point. And this is a point of, you know, I really feel like this is a point where probably the best thing that you can do is have a party. Or phone or FaceTime everybody on your contact list. And just, you know, I mean, if the 6 of Wands had been here, I would say that's kind of what you're not seeing. But there's more to this message than that. And you also have, you know, right, you've got 2 major cards here. That Father of Wands is a really strong card as well, too. So we've got a lot of deep reflection for these wheel people. There's, you know, there's not a lot of a lightness here. And I'm not sure where I want to go with this. There's something that I'm kind of missing here. So just give me a second, because the question was, what would you benefit? If I turn the question the other way, what would you benefit from seeing so that you can move through the rest of the year with greater ease? And what I am reminded of is the Temperance card in the Druidcraft Tarot, the one with the cauldron. And the sense that, you know, like in a cauldron, how you're mixing things and then you're placing things, like you're your own apothecary, really. And the whole idea of being responsible, I feel the responsibility of that king down there, like that king that carries the wand, the king that is in charge, the king that takes charge. But that responsibility isn't about, again, there's a theme here tonight about stop looking outside and to look inside. And I've felt that theme emerge through many, many of these readings. And so this King of Wands down here is very much in support of you. What? How can you see this better? What are you not seeing? You're not seeing that I just want to make this in one simple sentence for you. And it's interesting because I feel this snake energy. Just give me a minute here because I'm going to get this. So I see a lot of snake energy here. And it's like, it's not the energy in the Tower card that's arising and that's about to erupt, but this is spiritual energy. Spiritual energy that is arising within you that you do not see. I think that's what it's about. And I think that's maybe why I was seeing the Temperance card in the Druidcraft Tarot, because it's so beautifully connected to the physical aspect of nurturing your spirituality, right? Through the hand, the witchy handicraftedness of making your own potions and so forth. So as you've been going through this year of the wheel and focusing on the points rather than the whole journey, there's an aspect, and it feels quite strong, because the snake, you know, if you look at the metaphor of the snake and the kundalini, and there's other metaphors as well too. So I'd really pay attention to snake energy over the next lunar cycle. Depending on where you are on the planet, you may or may not be seeing snakes outdoors, but looking to the metaphor of the snake. Maybe even reading some of the the tales of the Ouroboros. So just really kind of have a look at that and how you can bring that medicine into the next 4 or 5 weeks. All right. This has been the most difficult one to read so far tonight. And please support each other, like I said, in the chat. If there's other things that come up. Justice. Okay, so for some of you, you know, I don't doubt that you have been actually like stepping forth, like you've actually been out in the walks and the standing up for human rights in various situations. Like, I don't doubt that this year has been a year of that for you, and actually quite literal a justice year, because more than anything, this is something that we have needed this year, is justice. Yeah. The thing that is really important right now for me to say is that the external, so the macro, is a reflection, a direct reflection of the subconscious, of the micro, of the internal. And so what is happening externally will be a reflection for you of an internal karmic pattern that may have been with you for lifetimes. And so you may have felt this really, really strongly this year. Yeah. It might have been a really kind of tricky year for you. All right. It's kind of a nice card to have there. Two of Wands. Justice. Seven of Swords. And I like that we pulled another Justice card. And I think that last thing I just said is really important, is that if you are experiencing, people who've had Justice as your card for this year, are experiencing challenges with justice, it could be with the, sticking up for a child at school. It could be in a community, in your community. It could be for your gender rights, whatever it is for. I almost feel like, when I see this fox here lying down, all curled up, holding around its sword, and I'm not looking at this I'm looking at this pictorially. The biggest lesson for you, and what you're not seeing, is that all the energy that you have spent on the external, now it's like, I feel like you've done enough for now. I mean, we can never do enough, but for now, you've done enough. And this card here really speaks strongly about giving yourself some time to integrate all that you have done this year, because that integration is critical. We have to pause and integrate the lessons, or we can't learn more, right? Become saturated. And so you also, this card here also makes me feel like, you kind of feel like maybe people haven't been paying attention to you, or like the violation, whatever that violation was really, really strong. And to have this card here for you in a justice year, it's like, I just want to give you a big hug. And I want to remind you about self-care, and that sometimes we have to step back because it can be all too much. And you might not be seeing that this is all too much. And what I'm seeing here in this Two of Wands card is, the Two of Wands is not a card of moving forward. It's a pause card. And there's a lot of possibility, and you have done some amazing things. And I see all the light ahead, but it is a card of pause. And it is a card of balance. 2, this is a balance card. These are balance cards. So I hope that resonates with some of you. The card underneath is the Ace. Just that I'm just going to pause and have a look at the chat, and then I'll go on to the next one. Ooh, Misty almost stepped on a snake. Well, I don't think that's a bad thing. Snakes move out of the way quickly. Paulus, if you ever get a chance, once our borders open up, if you ever get to Hawke's Bay, please look me up for a coffee and a chat. Who are you talking to? So have you met a fellow Kiwi, Paula? So nice. You know what? It's just, I have met some fellow Canadians who live really close by. I'm doing this, which is really fun. Okay, so Hanged Man. New perceptions. New perceptions. What is... Oh, these are the cards. Let's push that back a little bit. It's a long time to hang upside down for 12 months. It's a lot of blood to the head, don't you think? Your ankle might be bruised as well. Time to move. It's interesting that in this particular deck we have the 2 pillars, and I know we have that in other. The Hanged Man is hanging from like this shape, I know, but there's something about this shape that is speaking to me. So what are the hanged people in the next, through the next lunar cycle, the rest of 2020? Yeah, what would they benefit from seeing? So the original question is what are they not seeing, but what would they benefit from seeing? Well, you have the strength to recover from hanging upside down for a year is one thing. But I'm also feeling like 20, like the integration after this is huge. This is the Mother of Pentacles. Oh, that's such a sweet card to have here. I love this card. And then we have the Ace of Swords, which has come up earlier tonight as well, too. Okay. And when I see that Mother of Pentacles and this lion here, I'm really leaning to the self-care again. So make sure that is an aspect of this next lunar cycle. And I have a feeling in this year of hanging upside down that what you have gleaned now, after you have your little bit of integration, it'll be time for you to share it. It's almost like you're going to step into the role of, maybe not the role of teacher, but it will have given you enough information that maybe finally you'll have the words. Not only will you have the words, but you'll have the strength to share all that you have learned. So maybe you didn't understand why you had this card. And the reason why you had this card this year is so that moving forward, you would be able to share the teachings, the revelations, the aha moments that have come to you through the experience of walking the path of the Hanged Man for a year. But this is a big path. This is like I said, it's a long time to hang upside down. Mama's here to feed you, to nourish you, to take care of you. So make sure that you do that. And I will read the chat back later. I usually do. Sometimes I don't have time, and I read it and I do a little bit later, but if I've missed anything important, please write it in the comments below, and then I'll see it for sure because I get a notification. Okay. Michaela, just do your own thing and shut the door. It's fine. All right. Death. It can kind of feel nice. You know, I was saying like which cards actually kind of do well in a 4-year, and I think this is one of them. Because we need to have that support. We need to have that structure. It can help, right? It can help when we, and I also really feel that this is like a gift. It's like a gift to fully realize like how important this is. And I think it was in the Emperor reading I suggested that about the backpack being too full. And walking a year with the death card is an opportunity to really understand what that means. Hey, Jen. Okay, so whoa. Okay, so what are you not seeing? What are you not seeing? Whoa. Okay. Well, one thing, I don't think you're seeing that it's okay to be sad. I don't think you're seeing that it's okay to still grieve. I feel that you feel that you've been grieving long enough and it's time to be done with that. And so I know that, you know, there's lots of books and lots of experts that say there's, you know, these stages of grieving. And whether that grieving is over the loss of a home or the loss of a relationship or whatever it is, sometimes that can take years and years and years. There's no schedule for grief. So what you are not seeing is that that's exactly where you need to be still. And that is okay. And this card over here is just also, it's a reminder to take your time with this. And so as we go through the process of grief, however that is manifesting or whatever the situation is that is triggered the grief, make sure you reach out for the support that you need. because it's there, even in this season of restrictions and fewer, like I know, for example, the grief group that meets where I am is now limited to 4 people, and they have to be so far apart and wear masks, and it's not the same, but we still need to be in that process. So that's one of the things that I see here. I also, when I saw the 8 of Swords down there, I was feeling that you're not seeing how close you are to the end of this process. And when I see this card here, I feel like, so the cocoon is gone. The cocoon isn't on the butterfly. The butterfly is almost ready to open. And so what you're not seeing is the light at the end of the tunnel. So don't kick yourself for spending so much time in your grieving process. It feels like you just need a little bit more patience, and to know that soon this butterfly will transform into a butterfly, and you'll be able to feel a lot lighter. A lot. All right, before I do number 14, I'll just have a quick look here. Oh, Jen, you lost your dogs this morning. Oh my goodness. That's terrible. I know how scary that is. Alrighty, Temperance. Isn't that a pretty Temperance card? I've never looked at these cards upside down before. I love the colors on the wings. I think Temperance probably doing okay as well in a 4-year. I love this too. You know, like I don't like to wear shoes. Well, actually, now that I'm getting older, I have to wear shoes. I can't be barefoot all summer long, but I love that image. It's one of my favorite things to do. You know, just even in the winter, is to take off my shoes and walk on the beach in the water. Okay, so Temperance. What is Temperance not seeing? And so how can we make this next lunar cycle? This came up in another reading. This came up in the wheel, also in this position. That's one of my daughters playing with her friends on her computer. That scream. Okay. We've had some really kind of big readings here tonight. So this is a 1, right? This is the end. This is the 1. So it's like the alpha and the omega. And I really want to go back to that backpack analogy that came up in the first reading, because that horse hanging its head down there feels much like the emotion that I was feeling in that first reading. My tea is cold. But this, I love this on either side of the Temperance. This is just, it feels really feels powerful. It feels so strong. So what are you Temperance people not seeing? And how can the people that have the Temperance card manifest as much as possible and work through this next lunar cycle with to their maximum? Wow. Well, well, I would say that you're going to have to keep working the Temperance through the end of the year. I don't think this cycle is going to end for you. Maybe even into the new year. It feels like embracing the whole cycle, embracing the alpha and the omega, right? The balance with whatever it is you've been fine-tuning this year. So what you're not seeing is you might be a little tired of having this card as your card for the year. So what you're not seeing is, and I need to bring in this whole aspect of seeing the cups half full instead of seeing the cups half empty. And so let's use a really specific example. So suppose this is a year, this is your card for the year, and you've decided that you wanted to reduce your alcohol consumption this year. And you're a very, very wise person, and you decided, you knew that you didn't want to go cold turkey. You just wanted to only drink wine on every other day or something. And so, but you have friends or you have children who give you a hard time for that. And it's like, well, you need to do a cleanse, or, if you're really going to quit drinking, you should quit drinking, that kind of thing. And you've been really, really practical about this and really cognizant of it the whole year, and kind of looking after yourself, right? You've seen like this world card feels like, like you've been around the bend, and you've probably had a few benders too. But you are like, you have the power, and you just need to, if you focus on the cups half full and not let these other people bring you down. And this is just an example, right? I just picked this one example, and I'm not saying that drinking is a good thing, but nothing in moderation is a bad thing. And so again, this is the good job. Good job. That's kind of what I want to say to you. So hold your head high, because you've done really well this year. And smile. Yay. Oh, I see orange. Havana Star, hello, welcome. I feel emotional just hearing this message for the death card. You are so welcome. And Jen is resonating with this one. Ha ha ha, love Sadhana's acting out archetypal friends. I like doing this, okay? I like doing this. I think it's fun. I think it's good for all of us. I think it's important to keep an aspect of lightness, right? We can't get heavy about this. We have to learn our lessons and process all of our crap. But one of the things that I've learned is that, yeah, like We have to enjoy life. If you don't enjoy yourself, man, it's not good. And we need to feel the crap. We need to feel the pain, but we also need to feel the joy. So. Okay. Devil. All right, so how are those with this card going to bring 2020 to conclusion? Oh, have I turned these the wrong way again? Hold on. Sorry. This is the first card. I just want to make sure I'm... Yes. Okay. I kind of want to pull the devil's advocate here. I feel like in some way you are avoiding dealing with your stuff quite regularly. So, you know, like smoking your cigarettes in the shed in the backyard, or your joint or whatever, or hiding your 14 tarot decks underneath your bed so your husband doesn't see them. This is perfect. This is so perfect. Okay, so don't kick yourself. You're human. You're human. You are a human. I repeat. We all have our stuff, right? I don't care what it is. We all have our stuff. And what you're not seeing is that you probably have tempered quite well this year. And what you've probably learned is that having this card as a card for the year is an indication that you're going to have to, much like I said with the previous card, it's a lifetime. It's a lifetime lesson. It's not something that's going away. And that's why the Seven of Pentacles is here. It's like, you know, the Prince of Pentacles could have been, the Son of Pentacles could have been here. It's like this lesson. And you've probably realized that you're going to have to carry everything that you've learned this year with you. Oh, you know what? I'm going to retract what I said before. So this is kind of the opposite of what I was saying for the Hierophant card. You're going to have to carry these lessons with you in your shell forever. And you've done an amazing job. This is your amazing job card. So maybe that first thing that came through is true, but just put all of that together. Yeah. Good job. All right. I bet you're glad this year is over, Tower people. You know what? But what a year. What a year. If your relationship ended this year, if you walked away from a 25-year marriage, I don't know what your tower was this year, but I promise you, the star is on the other side. And it's the end of the year. So the other thing too about the tower in a 4-year, it's like in a, quite literally, like the volcano squishing the lava out, right? It's really like you're going to need a break. You're going to need a spa month. if there are any spas that are open these days. Mm. And if you need some comfort or you need someone to talk to, I'm here. Oh, awesome. Awesome. Oh, nice. Okay. So I don't really need to say anything, do I? Do I need to say anything at all? This is the easiest reading we've had so far. It's so clear and so amazing. Hey, Misty. Aw, thank you for the love. I love the little fox. This is so beautiful, right? It's like, good on you. So the original question was, what are you not seeing and what do you need to see? You need to see that you're done. It's over. It's over. So now it's about being really conscious about your balance, because you're going to need it, because you're going to feel depleted. You're going to feel depleted. So this is so important. This is the fundamental. This is the foundation. This card ended up underneath this for a reason. So this is critical, and you are so important. Like, forget everybody else. And if you do have some friends, some sisters, some grown-up children, I don't know who you live with, but there's so much joy in the Three of Cups. And maybe you have a virtual party. This just feels like the support that is there. So the question is, what are you not seeing? You need to see that people are there to help you celebrate this. So, I kind of want to stop there. That's such a beautiful draw of cards. So beautiful. Don't you love the colors in this Three of Cups? It just makes me so happy. Makes me so happy. So I want to tell you about the Star card. So I have been doing these readings a couple of times throughout the year. I did them in January, and then I already said this tonight. I did them around in the spring sometime. I think it was at Beltane I did them. And the readings for the Star card, both times, were so difficult. Like, I don't know. I need to look back. I'm definitely going to look back for a couple of cards and kind of see how the readings flowed through the 3 times I did this. Yeah. So what I want to say after this kind of a year, and especially because you're probably moving into a moon year next year, is that you can start to feel a little bit heady. And so one of the most important things is grounding. And I know this looks like a card of grounding, but it's a very airy card. It's very, celestial, and it's a card of cleansing, and you need to fuel. Because if you go from here to the moon, it's like insane asylum, right? Loony bin. So make sure you're eating well. Make sure you're grounding. If you've been embracing the energy of this card, I mean, it's a beautiful card to have, but enough. Like, I want to see some pentacles here. That's what I want to see. Okay, which way are we shuffling? I really want to see some pentacles here. That would be a good that'd be good. But maybe you already know that. So this is what you're not seeing. All right, we didn't get pentacles. So maybe you already know everything I've said. So what you're not seeing. This is a weird message. Well, I kind of like that there's a lot of fire over here. And this also is a very watery card as well too, but it's also very airy, you know. So the action is important as well too. And in a very practical level, you know, I'd say start walking up hills and doing some sweaty activities if you're able to challenge yourself in a very physical, active way. Might be something that you haven't been focusing on. And then on an energetic level and really looking to the medicine of the cards, you may have needed to have this year to regroup. This may have been your year of regrouping, but there's still some business at hand. And so these two cards this card kind of emphasizes this card here, right? This Four of Swords. And this always reminds me well, there's a few things about this card. One is this light piercing the third eye chakra, which is really quite a powerful message. But this reminds me so much of a biblical message and a really big kind of spiritual download. So I'm wondering, you know, this speaks to standing up for yourself. Both of these cards speak to standing up for yourself. And so maybe this was a year of regrouping for you and building that internal strength so that you can move forward in this way. And so what I'm seeing that you're not seeing, is that it's time to step up. It's time to stand up. It's time to move. It's time to act. You need to get out of the pond and start doing something because you've already integrated this. You've already processed this. You don't need to wait till next year to do something. It's time. It's time. Even though for some people, you know, it feels like holiday time. This is not holiday time. This is time for you to stand up and act and take the next step. Okay. Love this little lammy here. Anybody still with me? A few people are with me. Okay. We have a few more. Moon. Bet you're glad this year is over. Yeah. Hello, Michelle. All right, so moon. You know, on one side, I work with lunar energy every month, and I do my best to work with it because I find that the lunar cycle, it's quick, right? So it's easy to deal with the lunar cycle, but to have this as an overarching card for the whole year, maybe it could be really simple. Maybe it could just be that this was a year where you really learned to embrace your divine feminine energy and to connect with the moon. But on the other hand, this is a year of working deeply with shadow. So that's the part that I was saying that maybe a little one of the reasons you might be glad that this year that this year is over. What you're not seeing is that you're actually going crazy. Sorry, I'm joking. Tongue in cheek. Tongue in cheek. This is beautiful, right? Card of Revelation, Mother of Cups, another beautiful card. Okay. So, you know, I laugh because this is so great, because with the moon card, we're dealing with our darkness and our shadows and the things we don't want to look at all the time. And those things come to light, you know, in the night when we imagine the creepy crawlies and so forth. And so I kind of want to read this as a whole story, as a whole picture. And so what you're not seeing is that you've done a great job and you are emerging. And I love that the Mother of Cups is facing in towards this. And this is also very watery energy. But you know what? This speaks to me. I think of the goddess Saraswati. I think of mantra. I think of healing, beautiful sound and energy. And I want to encourage you to listen to beautiful music and to maybe play your singing bowls, or I don't know, I feel spiritual music would be a really good thing right now to help you just kind of finish processing whatever was revealed in the shadows for you. Yeah. This is another reading of, I feel like you've walked the medicine of the card this year. And so you may not be as you don't toot your own horn, right? You don't say kind things about yourself. You don't reward yourself. And so what I'm seeing here is that it's time to recognize your achievements. And I really see this card as medicine for you. Sound healing. And partly what you've been focusing so much on this that it's become your way of being. And so what you need to understand is this nightmares are not a way of being. We need to process things. If we can keep dream journals, if we can have an outlet for processing shadow. be it counseling, be it yoga, being whatever it is that you do. We need to have an outlet to process this so we're not haunted by this. But you've done amazing, amazing job this year. So congratulations. Okay, sun people. We have 4 more. That little fox is so cute. Okay. This next lunar cycle, the remainder of 2020, those people that have had the sun card as their card for the year, what are they not seeing? What do they need to see so that they can finish their year in the sun with the maximum benefit? Well, that you will always have these tools with you, and that you will always have, I see this as it's such a power card, right? So know that, and the Magician is actually facing in towards the sun. So there may be a little bit of fear about, this has been such a great year and I don't want to go to the next year because I know the wheel has to change, but you have the resources that you need to carry that through. You will be on a new path. What you're not seeing is the light at the end of the tunnel. And I sound like I'm contradicting myself. So you've been in the sun this year. You have been in a place of joy and light and love, maybe sunburn as well too. We can get, all of these cards hanging out with these energies for a whole year can seem a bit excessive. So it's important to have a sense of humor and to understand that all of these cards by this time of year need to bring some balance into their lives. And so there may be a little trepidation about stepping into the new year, and there may be a fear about connecting with lunar energy. I mean, the sun does move into the Judgement probably next year. I haven't done the calculations, but it more than likely is. And so that's kind of a scary year. That's a big transformation year, but there will be light at the end of the tunnel. So you're not seeing the whole path. You're not seeing the path from the beginning to the end. You're focused. You're focused. Here we go on this wormy card of swords here. So so this Magician card here, what I want to say is, how people say things and they start to build these stories from their chatter or from their gossip or from they build their own delusions. Like, it's the power in yoga, it's the power of Vok, it's the power of the voice. And so we create our own nightmares. If we watched our language more carefully, if we watched what came out of our mouth, if we watched our thoughts, and we were more precise and selective in what we actually thought, and we consciously got rid of the negative thoughts, then this wouldn't grow. So what I want to say is, what you're not seeing is that you've created this, and as easily as you have created this, you can uncreate it. Okay, so this feels like a very disconnected reading. I want to tie this together for the sun people. So the first thing is that I see a fear of leaving the energy of this card, and recognizing that next year may be a very big year of transformation, and you may already be aware of what that year is for you, especially if your transformation and the whole energy of the judgment is kind of at the forefront of your mind. But what you're not seeing is that you have the ability to navigate that. You have the ability to navigate that. And as long as you keep your eye on the light at the end of the tunnel, it's going to be fine. Okay. Let's put the cards the right way up and go to the next one. Okay. This is one of my favorite cards, in the tarot. I feel like it's the third and final kick at the can. I mean, we don't walk the wheel necessarily. We don't walk the journey necessarily in order, but this is a big card. It's a really big card. Okay, so what would those who have had the judgment for their card of 2020 benefit from seeing more clearly over the final lunar cycle as we walk towards the end of 2020? Five. Well, you've certainly stirred the pot up. That's what I have to say. You've certainly stirred the pot up. And perhaps you are not taking responsibility. You're not seeing how you have stirred the pot up. And you're not taking responsibility for what you have created. Perhaps you're not seeing the harsh words. Perhaps you're not seeing the confrontational action. On a positive note, perhaps part of your karmic pattern that needs to be released has to do with learning to let this go, forgiving yourself. And sometimes it's the hardest person to forgive is yourself. Because you can't stand in judgment of yourself. Nor can your peers, nor can your family stand in judgment of yourself. And so, very, very interesting cards here. And I would say that taking on some forgiveness practices. If you need help, if you need some resources, I'm happy to share those with you. But it feels like in order to fully process this, the revelation of this card, there's some major things that you need to say aloud, and then you need to let go. That's what it feels like to me. Alrighty. 2 more. We have the World. So I would really appreciate for those of you that have contemplated your reading tonight, if you feel so inclined to share some feedback with me, that would be amazing. For those people that have had the World card for 2020 for their card of the year, are there any final insights? Insight. What do they need to see? What do they need to see more clearly to wind up their experience with the World card? Kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Father of Cups. Yeah, and Father of Cups can be, it can be a little moody. Well, embracing that this chapter is now coming to a close seems obvious. And having that 6 of Swords there feels like confirmation, but not to be afraid of what lies ahead. There is a rainbow. There is a rainbow ahead. And definitely there will be challenges, and what you may not be seeing is that some of the lessons that you have been working with in the past aren't yet complete. And so that Devil card there speaks to me of as a gentle, not so gentle reminder that just because you've come to the end of this cycle doesn't mean that all of those lessons are complete. Sometimes we have to revisit those lessons in a different way, and so that we can integrate them in a different level. So it's like we process it at this level, right? And then we have a world, like we have an ending, but then we go a whole new cycle around. And so some of the stories, some of the teachings come back at us in different ways. And so to me, this feels like, you know how sometimes this is quite an arrogant kind of card. This is just a kind of like a cautionary reminder to be extremely humble as you move forth into the next year. And indeed, you are ready. You're ready for the next step. And there's a bunch of other things. But if you would like me to expand on that, we can go back and look at the cards in the video, and I can personalize the reading for you. Very, very happy to do that. This is the final card for tonight, the Fool. So your number would have been 22. So if your number was 22, this is your card. And there weren't too many people in that chart that had 22 as their card. Might have been kind of hard to step out and feel fancy free this year, hey? Might have been. You might have started off with the bang and then whoosh, you kind of ran into a brick wall. Or maybe you got somewhere and you couldn't come home. So of all the cards, I feel like in this particular year, and also being a 4-year, I feel like this is the card that's going to feel like they didn't get a fair kick at the can. That's really interesting. It's like perhaps this was an escape. Perhaps this year felt like maybe going into this year. Let's see what else we've got here. Oh, yes. Okay. Huh. Interesting. You know, I know sometimes I say things kind of directly or not, I don't know. But I feel like, so this was your card for the year. So what is the spiritual intention of the Fool? What is the spiritual intention of the Fool? Right? It is to, so the spiritual intention of the Fool is to let everything go, to give yourself permission to let everything go, and to start fresh and to feel free. You need to think about this. What I'm seeing here is the interconnectedness, like the energy and the spiritual energy that is down here. So this beautiful, strong tree that we see here is only here because of the magic below. And why are we reminded of this below the Fool card? And you know, sometimes when we step off on these sabbatical years, we forget how much that support back home gives in order for us to take that sabbatical year. And I feel like these cards over here are a reminder that even though you might feel a little bit ripped off with your full year, that it's time for you to start, thinking about your intentions and gaining some clarity, and kind of feels like the sabbatical is over. And it feels like you need to really be in gratitude for those that supported this year, whatever this year was for you. Really interesting cards. Wow. I would love to talk to somebody who had a full year. I know there's not too many. So I'm going to check in with the chat and just say hi to anybody who's still here. And then I'm going to go. Alrighty. So yeah, there's still 9 people here. So do you have any final questions or anything that you'd like to say? Because that was a bit of a marathon, but it was fun. I should look at this chat here. Oh, you're very welcome. Yeah, any final questions, just let me know. And if you have any, if you would like any follow-up to any of these readings, please make sure that you put something in the comments below, and then I can follow up with you. You're welcome, Misty. All right. So I'm going to sign off. Thank you all very, very much for being here tonight. I wish you well and have a great rest of your day wherever you are. Namaste.